All right, Jay, we've got the Corsair behind us, and you're flying that as part of the Unlimiteds. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in flying? Then let's get into where the airplane came from.
Sure. My name is Jay Consalvi. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts. I currently live in San Diego, California. And I've been flying all my life. My dad was a pilot, and he took me flying when I was 3 days old before I even went home from the hospital. So it's kind of in my blood. And I started flying for real in high school. I worked at an airport and got my pilot's license, and I went to the Naval Academy and flew a bunch there, and then I got out of the Naval Academy and started flying in the Navy. I flew F-14s and F-18 Super Hornets, and now I fly F-18 Legacy Hornets with the Marine Corps in San Diego.
How did you get started flying the Corsair?
This is a cool story. I just asked. I was at the Miramar Air Show 2 years ago, and I met the gentleman who was flying it, and we talked for a little while, and I said, how do I get to fly this thing? And he said, well, you need some tailwheel time. And I told him I owned a Stearman. He introduced me to some other people, and I started flying their T6 in the Commemorative Air Force. And then I flew his T6, and then after a while he said, all right, you're ready. And I started flying the Corsair.
So it's actually a good lesson you don't get if you don't ask.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. It's always been a dream. This is my favorite airplane in the whole world. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to fly one of these someday. So I just got to figure out how to do it, and it worked out the first time.
So tell us a little bit about this particular airplane and its history.
It's got some cool history. This airplane was built in 1945. It was designed, or it was contracted to be shipped off to Britain, and it was going to be a Lend-Lease airplane. It didn't go to Britain. It stayed here, and so it missed World War II, missed the end of the war. So it was in storage for a while, and they used it for a training airplane for a while, and then Korea came about, and it went to the Navy, and it was in VF-44, and it served on the USS Lake Champlain and the USS Boxer, and flew 300 to 400 hours of combat over Korea. So it's a legit warbird.
So the Corsair was one of the planes that actually landed on carriers and has some unique features. Can you kind of point those out to us and
Absolutely.
talk a little bit about them?
Well, looking at the airplane in general, you can see it's big. One of the first airplanes to use the R2800 and the big propeller it's got on it, that prop from tip to tip, is 13 feet 2 inches. So it's huge. The airplane was designed to be flown off of and landed back onto carriers. So they had to do something special with it, build it beefy like the Navy likes it, so it can crash into that carrier and catch a wire with its tail hook and stop. So they figured they couldn't put long spindly landing gear on it like they did on some other airplanes, so they put this big bend in the wing and put beefy landing gear on there. And then they put this tail hook here on the back, which I have it strapped up right now. And then they put these big old flaps in the airplane.
And the flaps slow it down?
The flaps help slow it down, and the airplane will fly real slow around the pattern. And if you look, see where the cockpit is compared to where the prop is, you're way, way back there, and you can't see much out in front of you. So the pilots back in the day would, if they're going to land this way on the boat, would come around the aircraft carrier and do a constant turn all the way till they're about to touch down, and then they'd kick out and touch down.
So it was a different approach than people make today.
It was a different approach than people. Well, actually, we pretty much do the same thing today, and it's all because of this airplane.
So now let's fast forward to today. What is it like to take this around the course at the altitudes that you're flying and the speeds that you're flying?
It's unbelievably fun. I can't believe that we get to do this. First of all, just flying the airplane for me is such a blast, and it's an honor because there's only 19 of these things left in the world that fly. And I figure pretty much on any given day when I'm flying it, I'm the only person in the world flying it. And then we bring it to Reno and fly around the course. And we're down there at 50 to 100 feet, race around the pylons. I'm doing about 250 knots, so what, 300-ish miles an hour. And just picturing myself flying around the pylons with those bent wings, cocked over, it just gives me chills right now, telling you about it. It's so exciting.
Bye.